Once upon a time, there was a bunny rabbit named Harry the Hare who thought he was the smartest and speediest animal around. He was always bragging about how fast he was and often challenged other animals to race him. One beautiful spring day, Harry the Hare walked up to a large pig who was resting in the mud and said, "Hey, Mr. Piggy, you must be really slow with those short legs and fat belly. I'll bet I could beat you in a race."
"You're always bragging, Harry, and talking about how great you are. I'm not as slow as you think,"
responded Mr. Piggy. He was very angry at the way Harry the Hare was picking on him, and he wanted to teach Harry a lesson.
"Come on, let's race."
"Oh boy, you're on! Let's go!" Wally the wolf ran through the forest telling all the animals about the race. Sarah the squirrel and Martin the monkey quickly spread the news to all the tree animals and birds. Darlene the deer came with Betty the bear and Charlie the chipmunk. Sammy the snake was with Bobby the bobcat. Mr. Piggy and Harry the Hare headed to a large open field and got ready for the big race. All of the animals looked on from the forest.
"How does Mr. Piggy ever hope to beat Harry in a race?"
Darlene the deer asked Bobby the bobcat.
"Never say never."
Martin the monkey and his friends found good seats in the trees and eagerly waited for the race to begin. Ernie the eagle swooped down to start the race.
"Ready, set, go!"
he shouted. The race started. And Harry the Hare took a big early lead. Mr. Piggy ran his heart out, but he just wasn't fast enough to keep up with his opponent. Harry began to laugh and make fun of Mr. Piggy.
"You're so fat, Mr. Piggy. Is that as fast as you can go?"
Mr. Piggy continued to try to run as fast as he could, breathing harder and harder, but he just couldn't catch Harry the Hare. Finally, after falling very far behind, Mr. Piggy stopped and yelled,
"I give up, Harry. You're right. You're much too fast for me."
"You know when you've been licked, huh? That'll teach you to never race me."
Mr. Piggy walked off, sad and tired, and headed back to the farm and his mud hole to rest. Just then, a turtle named Tommy the tortoise, who'd also been watching the race, spoke up.
"Hey, Harry, I'll bet I could beat you in a race."
"You? You've got to be kidding. You're so slow, the slowest of all animals. How dare you challenge me? Come on, let me teach you a lesson you won't soon forget."
The two went back to the same starting line in the field where Harry the Hare had raced Mr. Piggy. Ernie the eagle swooped back down once again to start the new race. When he landed, he said,
"Okay, here we go. Ready, set, go!"
As he did in the first race against Mr. Piggy, Harry the Hare took off fast and opened up a huge lead over Tommy the tortoise, who kept his head down and steadily moved forward. Harry the Hare looked back and laughed.
"You're so silly, Tommy. You make even Mr. Piggy look fast."
After a while, Harry the Hare was so far ahead of Tommy the tortoise that he decided to take a break. He stopped under a large oak tree and lay down to relax. After a few minutes, he fell into a deep sleep under the shade of the tree. Meanwhile, Tommy the Tortoise plodded along at a slow but steady pace without stopping for even a second. Eventually, he passed the tree where Harry was napping and continued on to the finish line, becoming the winner of the race. All the animals cheered loudly and celebrated as Tommy the Tortoise crossed the finish line. Hearing all the commotion, Harry the Hare woke up and realized that he'd lost the race. Sad and embarrassed by his foolishness, he hopped away and headed home. The story of the tortoise and the hare teaches us some very important lessons. First of all, it shows us that the steady, hard worker wins out in the end, just like Tommy the Tortoise. It also teaches us that we shouldn't be like Harry the Hare and make fun and tease others. And finally, no matter how much talent you have, you need to always work hard, because talent alone isn't enough.